Why? Why would anyone in their right mind willingly run a 100-mile race? The truth is, most people probably wouldn't. Races can be upwards of 30 hours to complete. There's no time for sleep. Eating and nutrition can become your greatest adversaries. But for a rare few, ultra running provides an outlet to push you beyond your limits. Because sometimes, a marathon just isn't enough anymore. It's one of the rare opportunities life provides that lets me see what I'm really made of. This whole crazy journey started about a year before my first race. I was training for my first marathon and a coworker, Matt Roberts, sent me an email that changed my life. He sent me a link to a video to a mini documentary. It followed two longtime friends who trained for and ran their first 100-mile race in Colorado. Until that point, I had no idea the sport even existed. I hadn't even completed a full marathon yet, and the idea of running for more than 20 hours continuously blew my mind. However, after I crossed the finish line of the Flying Pig Marathon in Cincinnati, I clearly remember thinking, is this it? It wasn't easy finishing a marathon, but it wasn't nearly as challenging as I thought it would be either. I chose Antelope Canyon as my first race because it is one of the most scenic ultramarathons in the US. Race day started at 6 a.m. and I probably had less than 4 hours of sleep.
So how do you say good morning, Navajo?
Good morning.
There's always a rush of adrenaline at the beginning of a race. It's something new and exciting. One of the easiest aspects of an ultra to mess up is starting out too fast. To finish a race in 30 hours, you only need to average 18-minute miles. That's only a brisk walk for most people, but maintaining that pace for 30 hours is a lot harder than it sounds. Races usually start early in the morning, and as you crest the hill you can see a train of headlights breaking through the night. And as you contemplate the insanity of all this, at least you know you're not alone. If I were to describe this race in one word, it would definitely be this: sand. There is so much sand in the first 42 miles, and the ground seems to sap any forward momentum that you have. The closest thing I can compare this to is running in slushy snow. As I was training for the race in Cincinnati in January and February, I went on many runs out in the snow and sleet, and as I hit the sand that day on race day, it felt similar to what I had experienced during my training runs. However, the slot canyons are absolutely stunning. As I passed through several during the first 25 miles of the race, I thought, I could do this forever. I felt so alive. It was like I was one with nature and that I could fly. Little did I know that the real race hadn't even started yet. I've heard many people say that during a marathon, the first 20 miles are a warm-up, and the real race is the last 10K. Until I ran my first marathon, that sounded ridiculous. After completing a marathon, I completely understood what they were talking about. After 20 miles of pounding cement and pavement, your legs feel like they're going to fall off. You know if you stop running, you may not be able to start again. A 100-mile race is kind of like that. The first 40 to 60 miles are just a warm-up. The hard part is what remains. Other than that, an ultra is nothing like a marathon. There are no bands lining the streets to cheer you on. You don't run on a flat course with pavements and sidewalks. There aren't aid stations every half a mile to a mile to cater to your needs. You have to scramble over rocks and up slip rock. There can be technical single track placing you precariously close to the edge of a cliff. This ain't your grandma's backyard run, son, and you better be prepared. Oh, and did I mention there's sand? You should have that word ingrained into your brain, because it's going to get everywhere and be with you for 100 miles.
These caves are amazingly beautiful. Totally worth 100 miles.
Looking back, I had no idea what I was talking about. And if the version of me that finished the race had heard this comment, he would have punched me in the face. But the me before you now would have agreed with him, and I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. There are some creature comforts provided, like ladders to help you navigate the slot canyons. I get asked a lot of questions when people find out I run ultramarathons. Like, why? Are you crazy? When do you sleep? How do you eat? One of the most frequently asked questions is, where do you go to the bathroom? There are various forms of porta potties at aid stations. Sometimes you just go like they did for thousands of years before indoor plumbing was invented. Seriously though, one of the best and worst parts of an ultra is the food. At aid stations they have all kinds of energy gels, fruits, sandwiches, quesadillas, soda, water, and electrolyte drinks. At night it gets even better as they frequently bring in hot pizza and soups, and in the morning they make hot pancakes. But all that food has to go somewhere, and after pounding the ground for hours, the stomach has a hard time processing all those calories. You can easily burn 6,000 to 10,000 calories during a race, and it can be really hard to take in that much. It leads to stomach upset, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea.
But as insane as the runners are, there will always be people there to support them, and that is amazing.
You're good.
But, oh man, it's awesome to see you guys. Thank you so much.
To see you.
All right, 20 down, 80 to go.
Yeah.
Oh, did you go down there and look at it?
We went to Horseshoe Bend, and then we came, well, we kind of like went off trail.
Yeah.
And we hiked back up it.
So
Your trail goes into a cliff.
Once we got out of the sand, next was the slick rock section. This was probably one of the most beautiful parts of the course. Running along the Colorado River as it cut through the gorge was just absolutely stunning. Running on the slick rock allowed me to really open up the legs, and I tore up this section, which we'll find out later was really a bad idea. And I was having an amazing day, and I just couldn't keep myself in check. There were so many obstacles and rocks to climb and jump over, and it was just a blast running through this portion of the course. If you've never been out to Antelope Canyon, you really have to go see all of the slot canyons that are there. The sand is really easy on the feet, and the views are absolutely breathtaking. When you get isolated and are alone running through these, it feels like you've gone back in time, and that there's no one but you and your surroundings left in the entire world. The only unfortunate part of this section is once you come out, it's back to pounding sand, and there's this giant hill that you have to climb up. The sand is loose, the feet slide, but if you can see on my feet there, I've actually got some special gaiters. They're called sand gaiters, and they do an amazing job of keeping the sand out of your shoes so you're not pouring out sand every 10 seconds. Once the course left the sand for good and got onto the hard-packed single track, things were looking up. But then all of those speed miles that I put on earlier really started to take a toll.
About threw up, I feel horrible. But, I got some food and went to the bathroom, so we'll keep going. There's still 57 miles left. So I'm about 45 miles or so into the race. Oh, I feel like crap. I don't think I've ever wanted to quit anything so bad in my life. My life isn't always about things being pretty or easy. It's about running your own race and proving to yourself what you're capable of. I felt like puking, and every piece of me from the waist down is screaming to stop, but I know I can do it. And when you hit those lows in life, it may not be pretty or easy, but you have the choice, and you can choose to give up, or you can choose to keep going and finish your race, and finish it on your terms. So finish your race.
Little did I know at the time that the true Sufferfest was about to begin. The nausea didn't improve, and about the only thing that I could keep down was Coke and chicken broth. I'd sip on some Coke and then sip on some chicken broth. From aid station to aid station, 5 miles apart, back and forth, for miles and miles and hours and hours. And at night, it's especially hard because a lot of the times you're alone, and it's going to take you hours to get back to the next aid station. But the amazing thing was that I wasn't alone. My brother-in-law Jake had come out to help watch and support the race and ended up walking a 20-mile loop with me. If it hadn't have been for him in the middle of the night, when everything was darkest and I wanted to give up, I may not have finished the race. My brother Trevor was also a rock star and walked many miles with me. I kept going because I had someone there to keep pushing me on. And eventually, day breaks and it's a new day. With the light comes new life and new energy.
Going for the victory lap with the victory torch. Like at 98.7 miles. Oh, I've never hurt so bad in my life. Got it, dude.
I vividly remember that last mile. I can't remember from anatomy how many bones there are in the feet and in the legs, but every single joint was aching. Every step was excruciating.
The final climb. You got it, dude.
And the only thought that kept me going was that it was just a few more steps to get to that finish line.
Maybe 50. Wait till we get this last spot, dude. Let's go. Oh, we're there, dude. Here it is. Oh, look at that puppy. Here we go. Got it, dude.
Up to that point, I had never done anything that was so physically, mentally, and emotionally taxing. But I had never felt so proud of myself for being able to do something I didn't think was possible. Without the support of friends and family, I know I couldn't have finished this race. But it felt so amazing to finally be done and sit down and pick up that belt buckle. Once you've climbed that peak, once you've put in the miles, you've done the climb, you've cried, bled, and you've pushed yourself beyond what you think you're capable of, and you finally get to the summit, what do you do next? You look on and you realize that there are more mountains to climb, and there's always another race.